We thought this story was over. We thought a judge's decision had brought peace to a family. But for one mother, the fight for her child was really just beginning. You see, a court had already made its decision, and that decision was supposed to bring stability and, well, an end to the fighting. But in this family story, the final sound of the gavel wasn't an ending at all. It was actually the start of a whole new battle. Now, you might remember these words. The simple wish from a little girl, Emily, was right at the heart of the first case. The judge heard her and put a 50-50 shared parenting plan in place, all designed to give Emily what she asked for, equal time with both her parents, Jonathan and Rebecca. That 50-50 ruling really should have been the final word on the matter. But for Rebecca, it wasn't. From her point of view, the arrangement that was supposed to help her daughter was actually doing the opposite. She was convinced she had to protect Emily, so she launched an appeal, pulling the family right back into that legal storm. So you have to ask, why? Why do it? Let's take a closer look at Rebecca's perspective and the fears that drove her to challenge that court decision all over again. So in her appeal, Rebecca painted this deeply troubling picture. She claimed that the constant moving back and forth between two homes was having a severe impact on Emily's health. She talked about emotional distress, problems with eating and sleeping, even endocrine issues. To her, the 50-50 split wasn't creating balance, it was creating chaos. Her entire argument, really, boiled down to this one idea, that Emily was being torn between two homes. For Rebecca, her more structured way of parenting was clashing with Jonathan's more flexible style, and she felt it was creating a deeply unstable and anxiety-filled world for their daughter. And that's a powerful, emotional plea from a concerned mother, right? But for an appeals court, emotion just isn't enough. They had to push all that aside and look at the whole situation through a strictly legal lens. The court did not focus on emotion. It asked one key legal question. And this was it. This was the one question that mattered. It wasn't about deciding who was a better parent or which lifestyle was right. The only thing the court cared about was this. Did the first judge make a huge mistake, a fundamental error that was actively harming Emily? And let me tell you, that is a very high bar to clear in an appeal. Now, to answer a question that big, the court couldn't just rely on old reports and past testimony. It needed a fresh set of eyes on the situation, an objective look at what was really going on with Emily under this new 50-50 arrangement. And this move was absolutely critical. They went back to the local guardianship authority, and get this is the very same group that originally advised against the 50-50 split, and asked them to investigate all over again. The court wanted to know, has anything changed? Were Rebecca's fears actually coming true? The answer they got back was a complete 180. A total reversal. In the first case, the authority had suggested a much more limited schedule for Jonathan. But now, after reevaluating a family living in this new 50-50 reality, they completely flipped their position. They now fully endorse the exact same shared parenting model they had once opposed. So, what could possibly cause such a massive change of heart? Well, the answer was Emily herself. In the new report, the authority quoted her directly, and she wasn't anxious or distressed. She was perfectly clear. She liked having two homes. She was happy. The very arrangement her mother feared was harming her was, in Emily's own words, working out just fine. So, with this huge piece of evidence now on the table, it looked like this case was heading for a pretty clear-cut conclusion, right? You'd expect a decisive ruling from the appeals court, but that is not what happened at all. The stage was totally set. You have the mother's appeal, based entirely on the idea that the 50-50 plan was causing harm, and then you have the new evidence, including the child's own words, suggesting the exact opposite. So, what were the judges going to do? The answer is, they did nothing. Because before the court could even issue a final judgment, the case took a wild, unexpected turn. The resolution didn't come from a courtroom at all. The twist came from Rebecca herself. She withdrew her appeal. And in her official notice, she explained that communication between her and Jonathan was getting better, and most importantly, Emily's health was improving. The very problems she had built her case on were starting to fade away on their own. So this family war wasn't ended by a judge's order. It just ended. It ended because the parents themselves started to figure out how to make peace. So let's look at what this really means. By pulling her appeal, Rebecca basically locked in the first court's 50-50 ruling, making it the final binding decision. The legal fight that had taken up so much of this family's life was officially, finally over. So when you step back, what does this whole story really show us? Well, first, it shows that sometimes a firm legal boundary is what it takes to create a new reality, one that forces everyone to adapt. Second, it reveals that the best solution wasn't found in a legal argument, but in personal growth. And maybe most importantly, it proves that the best resolutions don't always happen in a courtroom, but in the space where people decide to move forward together. And I guess that's the thought I want to leave you with. A court can draw lines on a calendar. It can issue rulings and set up a framework. But what it can't do is force people to get along. They can't create understanding. And this case is such a powerful reminder that while a court can deliver a ruling, only parents can truly create peace for their child. See how it all began? Watch the original case here and subscribe for more real stories.